You felt something shift. Not yesterday, not last week, maybe not even last month, but somewhere deep in the place where logic cannot reach, where reasons do not live. Something in you began to stir. A quiet knowing, a strange weight, an inner trembling that felt too specific to be random and too persistent to be dismissed. You did not invent that feeling, and you did not click on this video by accident. Your spirit found this message because it has already been detecting movement. Before your eyes could see evidence, before your circumstances changed, before anything in your natural world confirmed what you have been carrying, something on the inside of you began to respond to what was already moving in the unseen realm. That is not wishful thinking. That is not emotional hunger dressed up as spiritual sensitivity. That is discernment. That is the gift of people like you, people who were built to feel what others cannot yet see, people who carry the weight of a promise long before it arrives in the visible world. You are that kind of person, and this message was sent to find you right here, right now, in this exact moment of your life, so stay with me. Do not scroll. Do not let distraction pull you away from something your spirit has already recognized as true. What I am about to speak over your life is not a performance, and it is not rehearsed inspiration. This is a word that has been waiting for you. Before we go any further, if this is already landing in a place that feels real to you, do me a favor right now. Hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. This channel exists to find people exactly like you, chosen ones who are awake, who are waiting, who are sensing something that the world around them cannot explain. Every time you subscribe, you make sure this word keeps reaching the right people. So do it now and let's keep going. And listen closely because I need to say this before we go deeper. What you are feeling right now is not just an emotion, it is a call. And for those of you who are truly awake, who know that what you have been through was not punishment but preparation, I created something for you, something that goes far beyond what I can release in a single video. It is not just a material, it is a spiritual summons, a complete program built to take everything you have walked through, every fire, every delay, every season of silence, and transform it into authority, clarity, and mission. 5 powerful modules that reveal what the fire forged inside of you and how to use it to step into the greatest phase of your life. And it does not stop there. The program comes with 2 exclusive bonuses, deep, transformative content that has never been released on this channel. In total, 7 sacred materials available only to those who are truly awakened. I have made a limited number of units available in the first pinned comment below. But move quickly. This may come down without warning. If you are hearing this call, do not hesitate. Click the link in the first pinned comment right now. To ignore it is to remain standing in the ashes of what you survived. To respond is to unlock the mission you were born to fulfill. The link is waiting for you. Go now, then come back, because what I am about to speak will confirm everything you already know. Now, let us talk about what you have been carrying, because there is something that happened somewhere along the way, something quiet, something that most people around you would not understand if you tried to explain it. You began to sense that something was coming, not in the way people talk about hoping for good things, not in the shallow way of wanting a better situation. It was deeper than that, more specific, more haunting, more real. It felt like the edge of something enormous, like standing at the entrance of a door you could not yet see but somehow already knew was there. And then doubt showed up. Because doubt always does. You started to question yourself. You told yourself you were probably just being dramatic, that you were projecting your longing onto a feeling that did not mean anything. You looked at your circumstances and nothing had changed. You looked at the timeline and nothing was moving. You looked at your life and it still held the same weight, the same struggle, the same unanswered questions it had carried for months or even years. And so you did what exhausted people do. You tried to talk yourself down. You told yourself, stop getting your hopes up. You have been here before. You have felt this before, and you are still in the same place, so maybe the feeling is just you. Maybe it is just your need speaking louder than your wisdom. Maybe it is just desperation trying to look like faith. I need you to hear me clearly, chosen one. That voice was not wisdom. That was fear wearing the mask of reason. There is a particular kind of pain that belongs only to people like you. It is not the pain of those who never believed. It is the pain of those who believed deeply, waited faithfully, held on long after the holding became unbearable, and still watched the days pass without the evidence they were promised. You prayed prayers that felt like they dissolved the moment they left your lips. You watched other people receive. You watched timelines that did not include you. You sat in rooms where everyone around you seemed to be moving forward, building, celebrating, arriving, and you smiled, because you are gracious and you are genuinely glad for others. But inside there was a fracture forming, a quiet, dangerous question that you were almost too afraid to ask. Did God forget me? Am I actually chosen, or have I just been telling myself a story to survive? Is this promise real, or is it something I invented so I could keep going? Anointed one. I am not going to gloss over that pain. I am not going to rush past it with a fast declaration and a quick scripture. I am going to stand right here in the middle of it with you, and I am going to say something that I need you to receive in the deepest part of your spirit. The doubt you felt was not evidence that the promise is not real. It was evidence that you are human, and the fact that you are still here, still listening, still searching, still hoping even after everything that hope has cost you, that is not weakness. That is the most extraordinary form of faith I know. That is the faith that moves things in the unseen realm. That is the faith that outlasts the feeling, outlasts the timeline, outlasts the silence, and refuses to let go of what God placed in the spirit before the mind could understand it. You did not give up, and that matters more than you know. Now I need to tell you something that is going to change the way you see everything you have been walking through. The blessing is not coming someday. It is already moving, right now, in this moment. While you are sitting here, while your circumstances still look unchanged, while the evidence has not yet appeared in the visible world, something has already been released. Something has already been set in motion. Something is already crossing the distance between where it was held and where you are standing. I need you to understand the difference between a promise that is waiting to begin and a promise that is already in transit. Because what you have been sensing is not the beginning of the movement. Your spirit has been detecting a movement that already started. The stirring you felt was not your imagination generating hope. It was your spirit responding to something real, something that already exists in the unseen realm, something that has already been dispatched and is traveling toward your life right now. Think about this. When a package is shipped, it does not appear at your door the moment it leaves the warehouse. It travels. It passes through distribution centers. It crosses distances. It moves through checkpoints. There are moments when the tracking shows no update, when the status has not changed, when from the outside it looks like nothing is happening. But the package is moving. The movement does not stop because you cannot see the update. The arrival does not depend on your ability to track the journey. Your blessing was shipped. It has already left the warehouse of heaven. It is moving through checkpoints you cannot see, passing through the hands of people who do not even know they are carrying something for you, crossing distances that look like silence from where you are standing. But the movement is real, the arrival is certain, and the fact that you cannot yet see it does not mean it is not coming. It means you are in the in-between, the sacred and disorienting space between dispatch and delivery. And that space, chosen one, is one of the most spiritually significant places a person can live. Let me tell you something else about the movement. It is not traveling alone. The blessing moving toward you is not a single isolated event. It is a constellation. It is a gathering of aligned moments, people, conversations, decisions, and divine appointments, all being coordinated by a hand that does not make mistakes and does not lose track of timing. Right now, someone is being positioned in your path who does not yet know your name but will recognize your assignment the moment you meet them. Right now, a door that was closed to you before is being unlocked from the inside by a hand you did not place there. Right now, a resource that seemed unavailable is being redirected toward your life because the original recipient was never the final destination. Right now, hearts that were hardened against your purpose are being softened. Minds that dismissed your potential are being opened. Rooms that had no space for you before are being rearranged to make space for exactly who you have become. This is not poetry. This is how the kingdom operates. This is the God who parts water before the feet touch the riverbed. This is the God who prepares a table in the presence of enemies. This is the God who makes a way in places where a way does not exist, not after the need arises, but before the person arrives. He has been preparing the table. You are about to sit down, but I need to speak directly to something, because I know what some of you have whispered in your most honest moments. You have said, if this blessing is really coming, why did it take so long? Why this long? Why this much silence? Why this many closed doors? Why this many nights of carrying something you could not explain to anyone around? I want to answer that with everything in me. The delay was never denial. Let me say it again, slower. The delay was never denial. What looked like God changing his mind was actually God protecting the root. There is a reason that rain does not fall the moment a storm begins to form. The storm moves across the horizon first. It gathers, it builds. It approaches with a slowness that can feel cruel when the earth beneath it is dry. But the slowness is not indifference. The slowness is the storm doing what it must do before it can give what it carries. You have been watching the storm move across the horizon of your life. You have seen the clouds gather without releasing. You have felt the pressure in the atmosphere without feeling the rain. And in that in-between moment, everything in you has wanted to say, why won't it just break? Why won't it just come? Anointed one, it is breaking now. The pressure you have been feeling is not the pressure of something going wrong. It is the pressure of something enormous about to arrive. Storms do not rush their delivery. They arrive when conditions are right, when the timing allows the rain to reach the ground without being scattered by the wrong wind. And God has been protecting your wind. He has been making sure that when your blessing arrives, it arrives in the right season, through the right channels, in a form that your life is actually prepared to hold. Because here is what most people do not talk about. A blessing that arrives before the person is ready is not a blessing anymore. It is a burden. It is weight without the structure to carry it. It is provision without the wisdom to steward it. It is an open door that leads to a room you have no capacity to inhabit yet. God was not slow. God was precise. He was building you, stretching you, stripping you, deepening you, expanding you, and forming in you the container that could hold what is coming without breaking under its weight. The waiting was not wasted. The waiting was the work. And now I want to talk about what you may be noticing around you, because the blessing does not arrive without announcing itself. Not loudly, not in the way that the world would recognize, but in quiet, specific ways that only someone spiritually sensitive would detect. Ways that make perfect sense once you understand what they mean. Have you noticed an unusual peace lately? Not peace because everything is fine. Peace that does not make sense given everything that is still unresolved. A stillness that settled over your spirit, even when your circumstances still carried the same tension. That peace is not passivity. That peace is not resignation. That peace is your spirit resting in the knowledge that the outcome has already been decided. That peace is the confirmation your mind could not give you, arriving through a deeper channel. Have you noticed a sudden discomfort with environments that used to feel normal to you? Rooms that used to feel comfortable now feel small. Conversations that used to feel satisfying now feel hollow. Relationships that used to anchor you now feel like they are pulling you backward. That discomfort is not ingratitude. That discomfort is preparation. When God is about to move you to a new level, He makes the old level uncomfortable enough to leave. He does not push you out. He shifts something on the inside of you so that staying becomes more difficult than going. Have you noticed people leaving your life without dramatic explanations? Relationships dissolving quietly, connections fading without confrontation. People who were once fixtures in your world slowly stepping out of it. Do not chase what God is releasing. Do not beg for what heaven is repositioning. Some of the people who walked with you through the wilderness were assigned to the wilderness season, and the wilderness season is closing. The people assigned to your next chapter cannot enter while the seats are still filled by those assigned to the last one. Let them go with grace. Their exit is part of your alignment. Have you felt new desires rising? Things you did not want before suddenly pulling at your attention. Dreams you had buried resurfacing with a clarity that surprises you. A pull towards something that feels too large for your current life, but too persistent to ignore. Those rising desires are not distractions. They are directions. They are your assignment making itself known through the language of longing. God does not lead with audible instructions every time. Sometimes he leads with appetite. He places the hunger before he reveals the table. Trust what is rising in you. And have you felt it? That strange, unnameable feeling that your life is about to shift? Not in the way you felt it before, with desperation underneath it. This time it feels different, quieter, more grounded. Like something has already been settled, and you are simply waiting for the natural world to catch up with what the spiritual world has already decided. That feeling, chosen one, is one of the most sacred things a human being can carry. It is the feeling of a life standing at the edge of its appointed moment. Your appointed moment is not behind you, it is ahead of you, and it is closer than you think. Before I go further, I need to pause here for just a moment. If what I'm speaking is landing in your spirit right now, if something in you is saying, yes, this is exactly what I have been feeling, I need you to do something. Drop a comment right now. Write, I am ready, or I receive this. Let your faith make a sound. Let your spirit declare out loud what it already knows to be true. And if you have not liked this video yet, do it now. It takes 1 second, and it tells heaven, and it tells this channel, that this word is finding the right people. And I want to remind you of something. The program I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the one with 5 powerful modules and 2 exclusive bonuses, those 7 sacred materials available in the first pinned comment below, this is not something you should let pass without at least reading what it contains. Because everything we are talking about right now, the preparation, the authority, the clarity, the mission, that program was built to walk you through exactly this transition. The link is in the first pinned comment. Go look at it. And then come back, because I am not finished speaking over your life. Now I need to speak to who you are, not who you were, not who you became during the hard seasons when survival required you to shrink, to hide, to make yourself smaller, so the weight of everything pressing against you would not crush you completely. I need to speak to who you actually are, the real version, the version that existed before the disappointment started editing you, the version that God sees when he looks at your life and calls it chosen. You are not behind. I need you to receive that fully before we go any further, because the enemy of your faith has spent considerable time convincing you that you missed something, that someone else received what was meant for you, that the timeline moved on without you, that by now, at this point in your life, you should be further along, more established, more visible, more arrived. That is a lie, and it is one of the most effective lies ever spoken against the people of promise, because it uses real pain as its evidence. It points to the gap between where you are and where you thought you would be and says, see, you fell behind, you failed. The promise passed you by. But chosen one, there is no behind in a divine timeline. God does not work on a schedule that can be disrupted by what you went through. He does not recalculate your destiny based on how long the wilderness lasted. He does not reassign your promise because the journey took longer than expected. He is the God of appointed times, and appointed times cannot be stolen, cannot be delayed by human failure, cannot be missed by someone whose name is written in the purpose he established before the foundations of the world. Your name is still there. Your assignment is still intact. Your promise has not been given to someone else, and I want to speak to something that the silence may have tried to tell you about yourself. The silence tried to say you were forgotten. The silence tried to say that others were more worthy, more favored, more spiritually consistent, more deserving of the answer you were waiting for. You watched people who seemed less serious about their faith receive things you had been pressing into God for with everything you had. You watched people who had not walked through half of what you walked through arrive at places you had been believing for across years of your life. And in those moments, something fragile inside of you began to wonder. Maybe I am not as chosen as I thought. Maybe I misread the signs. Maybe I built a theology around my own longing and called it a promise. Anointed one, hear me. The favor on someone else's life is not evidence against the favor on yours. God does not have a limited supply of blessing that runs out when someone else receives theirs. What he releases over another life does not diminish what he has prepared for yours. Their harvest is not your subtraction. Their open door is not your closed one. Their appointed moment arrived in their appointed season, and your appointed moment is arriving in yours. Stop measuring your timeline against theirs. Stop using their arrival as evidence of your delay. Your story is not their story. Your route is not their route. And the depth of what God is bringing into your life cannot be compared to anyone else's chapter, because no one else has been prepared the way you have been prepared. No one else has been broken and rebuilt in the specific way you have been broken and rebuilt, and no one else carries the precise combination of experience, survival, and anointing that you are carrying into your next season. What is coming toward you was crafted for you specifically. It will fit no one else the way it will fit you. But now I have to say something that requires courage to hear, because there is a danger that faces the chosen one at precisely this moment. Not the danger of disbelief, not the danger of giving up. You have already survived those attacks. You are still here. Your faith is still standing, even if it is standing quietly, even if it is standing with trembling hands and tired eyes. You did not let go of the promise, and that means you have already outlasted the most obvious assault. But there is a subtler danger, and it comes right at the edge of the breakthrough. The enemy could not stop the release of what God prepared for you. That battle has already been decided. The blessing is already in motion, and nothing in the spiritual realm has the authority to stop what God has authorized to move toward your life. So the enemy shifts his strategy. He stops trying to prevent the blessing and starts trying to prevent you from receiving it. And he does it through the most familiar weapons he owns. He brings back the old fear. The fear that says, what if I receive this and lose it? What if I step into this and I am not ready? What if this is too good and something goes wrong? What if I do not deserve this and I am being set up for a fall greater than any fall I have survived before? He brings back old relationships, people from your past, habits from your old life, environments that feel comfortable because they are familiar, even though familiar stopped serving you long ago. He makes the old version of your life feel like safety, right at the moment when God is calling you to leave it behind for good. He brings back old shame, the stories you told yourself about why you do not qualify. The memories of every time you failed, every time you fell short, every mistake that the enemy has archived and plays back at maximum volume every time your faith starts to rise. Do not go back. Do not let him use the familiarity of your old life as a trap disguised as comfort. The version of you that survived the wilderness was built for the wilderness. But you are not entering the wilderness. You are entering the promise, and entering the promise requires you to shed the survival posture that served you in the desert, but will limit you in the land of abundance. You cannot carry the fear of scarcity into a season of overflow. You cannot carry the posture of invisibility into a season of assignment. You cannot carry the old story of who you were into the new chapter of who God has made you to be. Leave it. All of it. Leave it at the threshold and walk through. Now I want to speak practically, because spiritual preparation is not only about what happens in the spirit, it is about how you position your whole life to receive what is coming. First, clear your heart. Not because unforgiveness disqualifies you from blessing, but because unforgiveness is weight you do not need to carry into what is coming. There is someone whose name just appeared in your mind, someone whose offense you have been carrying so long it has started to feel like a part of you. I am not asking you to pretend it did not happen. I am not asking you to call what they did acceptable. I am asking you to make the choice that releases you, not them. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to the person who wounded you. It is a gift you give to the version of yourself that deserves to walk into the next chapter unshackled. Release it. Not for them, for you, for the person you are about to become. Second, stop speaking against your promise. Every time you say it will never happen, every time you say I always miss it, every time you rehearse the evidence of why it is not coming, you are not being realistic. You are being destructive. The words of your own mouth have more power over your atmosphere than you have been taught to take seriously. Begin to speak in alignment with what you believe is coming, not with the false cheerfulness of someone pretending everything is fine, but with the quiet, grounded confidence of someone who has decided to believe God regardless of what the current evidence suggests. Speak to your promise. Speak to your next chapter. Speak to the doors, to the people, to the resources, to the timing. and speak with the authority of someone who has survived enough to know that God does not abandon what He ordains. Third, make room, emotionally, spiritually, practically. Stop filling every hour with noise so you do not have to sit with the waiting. Stop overscheduling your life in an attempt to outrun the silence. Create space. Create quiet. Create margin in your inner world for the voice of God to reach you with instructions, with clarity, with the specific kind of preparation that requires stillness to receive. The blessing needs a place to land. Make sure your life has one. Fourth, stay obedient in the small things. The next season of your life will be built on the faithfulness you are demonstrating right now, in this season, when no one is watching, when the reward is not yet visible, when the only motivation for doing the right thing is the integrity of your own character. What you do in the in-between is what qualifies you for the arrival. Do not grow careless because the big moment has not come yet. The big moment is measuring your behavior in the small ones. Be faithful here. Be trustworthy now. Be the person in the hidden season who is already living like they believe the visible season is coming, because it is. Fifth, walk with quiet boldness, not arrogance, not the loudness of someone trying to convince themselves or everyone around them. Quiet boldness, the kind that does not need to announce itself, the kind that moves through rooms with the settled confidence of someone who knows something they cannot fully explain, the kind that says, I do not have all the evidence yet, but I have made peace with the promise, and that is enough for today. Walk like that, move like that, live like that, and prepare to receive without guilt. This is important. When it arrives, and it will arrive, receive it fully. Do not minimize it. Do not deflect it. Do not stand at the edge of your own blessing and find reasons why you should not have it, why it is too much, why someone else deserves it more, why you are overwhelmed by the goodness of it. Receive it with open hands, open heart, and the full understanding that this is not luck, this is not coincidence. This is not random favor finding a random person. This is appointment. This is the thing God put your name on before you ever knew your own name. Receive it as such. Stop here for just a second. If this word is building something in your spirit right now, if you can feel the shift happening as you listen, I want you to pause and drop a comment below. Type, I walk with quiet boldness, or simply, I receive. Let your declaration be visible. Let your faith make a sound that echoes beyond this screen. And if someone else needs to hear this word today, share this video right now. You never know whose life is hanging on the edge of what this message carries. And one more thing before we move into the final declaration. The program in the first pinned comment below. Those 7 sacred materials, the 5 modules that reveal what the fire built in you, and the 2 exclusive bonuses that have never been seen on this channel. If you have not gone to look at that link yet, do it now, not later. Not when you get around to it. Now. Because what we are talking about in this video and what that program contains are not separate conversations. They are the same conversation. One happens in your ears, the other happens in your hands. Both are calling you forward. The link is in the first pinned comment. Go claim your access. Now I need you to lean in, because what I am about to speak is not for the casual listener. It is not for the person who stumbled here by accident and stayed out of curiosity. It is for you, the one who has been pressing through, the one whose faith has been stretched so thin that some mornings it felt translucent, like light passing through something almost broken. The one who kept going not because everything made sense, but because something deeper than sense would not let you stop. This is for you. And I need you to feel every word of what I'm about to declare. Movement has already begun, not symbolically, not metaphorically, not in the poetic language of someone trying to make you feel better about a situation that is not actually changing. I mean movement in the literal, spiritual, appointed, authorized, heaven-released sense of the word. Something that was held has been released. Something that was sealed has been opened. Something that was waiting on divine timing has received the signal, and the signal has been given, and the movement is real, and it is happening right now, and your life is the destination. The right people are being stirred. Somewhere in the geography of your future, people who carry pieces of your next chapter are being awakened to their part in your story. They do not yet know your face. They do not yet know your name. But something in their spirit has been activated, a restlessness, a prompting, a sense that there is someone they are supposed to find, someone they are supposed to connect with, something they are supposed to carry to a person whose life will make sense of the gift they have been holding. You are that person. They are being moved toward you. The right doors are being unlocked, not cracked, not slightly ajar, unlocked from the inside, by a hand you did not place there, by a key you did not cut, by an authority that operates above every system that tried to keep you out. Doors that were closed to you in a previous season are being opened in this one, not because the gatekeepers changed their minds, but because God repositioned the access, and what required human permission before now requires only divine appointment. Walk toward those doors with confidence. Do not apologize for entering rooms that heaven opened for you. Do not shrink at thresholds that God unlocked. Walk in. The right timing is being protected. This is perhaps the most sacred part of what I want to say to you, because the timing of your blessing is not accidental, and it is not arbitrary. It has been guarded, watched over, protected from the interference of every force that tried to accelerate it prematurely or delay it beyond its appointed window. God has been standing watch over the timing of your life, the way a shepherd watches over something precious, with attention that does not wander, with care that does not sleep, with a knowledge of exactly when the appointed moment arrives and exactly what it requires for the delivery to be complete. Your moment is within the protected window. It has not passed. It has not been stolen. It is arriving on time, on heaven's time, which is the only time that matters. And I want to speak now to the next chapter of your life, because your next chapter is not going to look like your last one. Your last chapter was survival. It was pressing through. It was holding on when holding on was the only option available. It was faith in the dark, hope in the silence, trust without evidence, perseverance without a visible finish line. Your last chapter asked everything of you and gave you very little in return that the world could see or acknowledge. But your next chapter is different. Your next chapter is arrival. It is the moment when the things you believed in the dark become visible in the light, when the seeds you planted in tears become the harvest you gather in joy, when the waiting that felt like wasting becomes the testimony that moves rooms to silence and brings people to their knees because they cannot explain what happened to you any other way except to say, God did this. Your next chapter is the one where the story makes sense, where the pieces align and people who watched your journey begin to understand why the root was what it was, where the pain you carried is redeemed by the purpose it produced, where the years of preparation are revealed as exactly that, preparation, not punishment, not abandonment, not evidence of a forgotten promise, but the necessary, sacred, specific formation of a person whose assignment required exactly this level of depth before it could be trusted with exactly this level of impact. What looked slow was actually precise. What looked silent was actually sacred. What looked like nothing was heaven arranging everything. I want to speak to your faith right now, the faith that survived. The faith that does not look glamorous, that does not look like the faith on the highlight reel, that does not look like the faith in the testimonies where everything worked out quickly and the breakthrough came in the first season of pressing. I want to speak to the faith that kept going after the first year, after the second year, after the season you thought was the last hard season and then another hard season came, after the moment you thought you had finally arrived and then the floor dropped out again. That faith, the faith that is still standing in you right now, a little worn, a little quieter than it used to be, but standing, still standing, after everything that came against it, still standing. Chosen one, that faith is not a small thing. That faith is one of the rarest and most powerful forces in the spiritual realm, because faith that has been tested and has not collapsed carries a weight and an authority that untested faith simply does not possess. You have been through the fire, and you are not ash. You have been through the flood, and you are not drowned. You have been through the silence, and you are not faithless. You are standing, still standing, and standing is the posture of the person who is about to receive. So stand a little taller now, because the arrival is close. And now I want to speak something over relationships, because the blessing moving toward you is not only about provision. It is not only about doors and resources and timing. It is also about people, about connection, about the relationships that were meant to be part of your assignment and have been held in the hands of God until the season was right for them to enter. There are people coming into your life who will see you. Not the version you performed for survival, not the version you edited down so it would fit into rooms that were never big enough for who you actually are. The real version, the full version, the version with the depth and the weight and the wisdom and the anointing that everything you walked through produced in you. People who will look at you and say, "I was waiting for someone like this." People who will call out what you almost buried. People who will create space for the gift that too many seasons tried to minimize. They are coming. And there are also relationships in your life right now that are about to deepen in ways that surprise you. Connections that seemed ordinary are about to become extraordinary. People who have been in your peripheral vision are about to step into the center of your story. Pay attention. The divine appointments in your next chapter will not always arrive with announcement. Sometimes they will arrive quietly, in ordinary conversations, in unexpected encounters, in the small moments you almost dismissed. Stay present, stay open, stay attentive to what God places in front of you. I want to speak to your family, to the people who carry your name and your blood and the weight of what you are walking through, even when they do not fully understand it. To the children who are watching how you handle waiting. To the parents who prayed over you when you could not pray for yourself. To the siblings, the partners, the friends who have stood in your corner through seasons that tested everyone's endurance. What God is releasing into your life will overflow. It will not stop at you. The blessing moving toward the chosen one does not arrive in a portion. It arrives in abundance, and abundance overflows. It reaches the people around you. It covers your household. It creates legacy. It generates testimony that goes beyond your single story and becomes a river that waters the lives of people who come after you. You are not just receiving for yourself. You are receiving for everyone your life touches. Receive with that understanding. Receive with that responsibility. Receive with the awareness that what God is doing in your life is bigger than your personal story, bigger than your personal comfort, bigger than the relief of finally having the evidence that the promise was real. It is a movement, and you are the carrier. Now let me pray over you. Let me speak a blessing over the life of every chosen one who has sat with this word today, who has carried something they could not fully explain, who has waited with quiet faith in a season that demanded everything and returned very little that the world could see. Father, I stand in agreement with the spirit of every person who is listening to this right now. I ask you to meet them in this moment with a confirmation so deep and so specific that they cannot walk away from this video unchanged. Let this word land not in their ears only, but in the deepest part of their spirit, in the place where you speak and they know it is you, in the place where faith is formed before evidence arrives. I bless their faith, the faith that kept going when going made no sense, the faith that prayed in silence and believed in darkness and held on through seasons of waiting that stretched beyond what anyone around them could understand. Let that faith be rewarded. Let it be honored. Let it be vindicated in the most visible, undeniable, testimony-producing way that only you can orchestrate. I bless their waiting. Every day, every month, every year of waiting that felt like waste but was actually formation. Let the fullness of what that waiting produced be revealed in this next season. Let them see with their own eyes the harvest that grew from the seeds they planted in tears. I bless their preparation, every quiet act of obedience, every moment of faithfulness in the small things when no one was watching, every time they chose to keep their integrity when compromise would have been easier. Let that preparation become the foundation of everything that is now arriving. Let what was built in the hidden season support the weight of what is coming in the visible one. I bless their discernment, the sensitivity of spirit that felt the movement before the eyes could see it, the inner knowing that would not be silenced even when logic tried to dismiss it. Let that discernment be sharpened in this next season. Let it become one of their greatest tools. Let it guide them into the right rooms, the right relationships, the right decisions, the right moments, the right yes and the right no. I bless their peace, the unusual, unexplainable peace that settled over them even in the middle of circumstances that had not yet changed. Let that peace be a permanent anchor. Let it remain even in the acceleration of what is coming, even in the movement, even in the newness, even in the stretching of this next chapter. Let them be people who carry peace into every room they enter, because they know whose hand is over their life. I bless their family, every person connected to them, every child, every parent, every partner, every friend who has prayed and believed alongside them. Let the blessing overflow into every one of those lives. Let the testimony that is coming create a wave of faith in everyone who witnesses it. Let it be so undeniable, so clearly the hand of God, that even those who doubted become worshippers. I bless their assignment, the specific, irreplaceable, heaven-designed mission that no one else on this earth was built to carry the way they were built to carry it. Let this next season bring clarity. Let it bring activation. Let it bring the resources, the platform, the relationships, the open doors that allow the assignment to be fulfilled with power and with precision. Let them no longer wonder what they are supposed to do. Let the path become clear. Let the steps become ordered. Let the anointing on their life find its full expression in this appointed season. And I bless their next chapter. Let it be everything they believed for and more. Let it exceed the version they imagined in the hardest nights of waiting. Let it be proof that God does not forget, does not abandon, does not revise what he has spoken over a life that was willing to trust him through the long silence. Let what was held now be released. Let what was hidden now be revealed. Let what was promised now be possessed. In the name of the one who makes all things new, who orders all steps, who appoints all seasons, and who has never once lost track of the life he created for purpose and called by name, it is done, it is already moving. And you, chosen one, are the destination. Now, I want to ask you to do one thing before you close this video. Type in the comments right now, I am ready to receive what God is sending. Let that be your declaration. Let that be your posture. Let that be the sound your faith makes in this moment. Because declarations have weight, because words carry direction, because there is something that happens in the Spirit when you stop only believing silently and let your faith become audible. Type it. Say it out loud if you need to. Let it be real. And if this word confirmed what your spirit has been feeling, if this message found you in exactly the right moment and spoke to exactly the right place inside of you, subscribe to this channel right now. Because there is more coming. There are more words, more confirmations, more declarations that are being prepared for people exactly like you, chosen ones who are awake, who are sensitive, who are standing at the edge of the greatest season of their lives and need to hear that what they feel is real. Subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. And share this video with someone whose spirit needs to hear it today. You never know who is one word away from holding on. And one more thing, look at what is appearing on your screen right now. That video was prepared for you next. It carries the continuation of what this word began in your spirit today. Do not let the momentum stop here. Keep going. Keep receiving. Keep walking forward into the promise that is already moving toward you. Your next chapter starts now. Go watch it.